Hey onesies, Josh Williams here, and thanks for checking out the One Man Podcast. There's now over 200 episodes and dozens of bonus interviews, all of which are available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, and many more. And you know what? If you don't have any of those apps, no big deal, because you can listen anytime at onemanpodcast.com. So be sure to subscribe because it's always free and there's a new episode out every Wednesday. And while you're at it, leave a review. It's a great way to help the podcast and it doesn't cost you a thing. Follow One Man Podcast on all the major socials and you'll get bonus content and pictures, fun stuff for yourself. And finally, if you have something that you want read on the show, send it to contact@onemanpodcast.com because if you send it, I'll read it on an upcoming episode. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy.
What's up, everybody? This is DJ Demers.
I'm K. Trevor Wilson.
Hey, it's Krista Allen.
Hi, this is Rick Mercier.
What's up, guys? This is Paul Verzi, and you are listening to the One Man Podcast. Yeah!
My name is Josh Williams, and welcome to the One Man Podcast, episode number 221 for Wednesday, August 4th, 2021. How's it going, onesies? How are you guys doing, huh? Welcome to the One Man Podcast. If you don't know what that is me, comedian and earthling Josh Williams, taking you through what's going on with me. I always tell you about what I did in the last week. Lets my friends, family, fans, whomever, Josh curious people, just kind of go, what's this guy been up to? You know what I mean? We haven't seen him on stage in a long time. What is going on in his life? Well, this is where you come to find out. And this week I will be telling you a few things. I went and I saw my first movie in a theater in a long time. And if you've been a onesie, you know, since at least for a long time, you'd know that this feller, he likes to go put his butt in a chair in a movie theater. All right. That's a thing that I do. And I think I really enjoy doing. And what's this? Another thing I enjoy doing is slurping a cup of coffee. And I do it frequently. I actually slurp a lot of things in this. It started as like, I had a pretty good microphone. So if I had a little sip on something every now and again, I remember, Summersby was a sponsor. So I drink out of a can and I'd, slurp out of the can a little bit. Or sometimes, you have a drink and there's just a bunch of fluid left in the ring. It's unsightly. Even though I'm just by myself, I'd give a little slurp it out, but I picked up on that. Some people were like, that's really funny. I laugh. It's almost like a game that they play is how many times am I going to slurp? So I have grown to embellish it. It is one of the quirks of the show is listening to yours truly slurp whatever beverage he's got in front of him today. I have two. I have a bottle of vitamin water. They are not a sponsor. I just got it on sale at Costco. Costco also not a sponsor. But we'll be, I went to the movies. I saw Black Widow. I will tell you about that. I also watched a shittiest movie. I haven't had a recommendation for the shittiest movie in a very long time, and I don't even think I reviewed one, but I watched one, and I actually came across another one in my search. I watched only because it was one of those ones that's like leaving Amazon Prime in less than 16 hours or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's watch it. It seemed stupid. What else? I watched another episode of Loki, even though it's finished. I will tell you guys my thoughts on Loki, because I know everyone's dying to know. Josh, what are your thoughts on the show Loki? I'll tell you. What else? I watched a couple of docu-series. Well, no, I didn't watch the whole series. I apologize. I watched a couple episodes of a docu-series, The Movies That Made Us. I will talk about that. I got to go to the Rito Center with Brody, and we visited the Lego store. We'll tell you about that excursion. I played Codenames with my internet family. What's an internet family, Josh? I've explained this in the past, but woo! Excuse me. I'll tell you guys about that. And I got my second vaccination. So this here feller is double vaxxed with the same serum. Yeah. I will tell you guys all about my experiences getting double vaccinated. But that's going to be what we talk about this week. So why don't we just dive right in it? Do I start with, let's start with some movie and some TV shit, huh? Let's get that out of the way. I went to go see Black Widow, and apparently I didn't know this. I avoided it. I've been kind of a Marvel nerd. Every time a new Marvel movie comes out, I'm all over it. I'm a day one fucking kind of guy. I enjoy what they do and I like watching it. I bought my tickets in advance, for Infinity War and Black Panther and Endgame. I was just like, oh, it's coming. It's going to be huge. Got to get there first night. Want to see it. So, when Black Widow came out in the, eventually, right? It was supposed to come out for like 2 years now. Just because of the pandemic and stuff, it's been getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And I think Disney was like, well, we want to make that theater money, right? you can pay $30 at home and have like 9 people watch it, or you can make them all pay $15 to go see it in the theater. That's a lot more money for them. So I think Disney was really waiting to make sure that they didn't have any theatrical releases that just kind of came out on TV. And Black Widow was getting, I guess people have been slamming it. My mom watches a lot of those, like she calls them the nerds, right? She's like, I just watch the nerds on YouTube and they all talk about, this, that, whatever. So my mom, someone who liked all the Marvel movies, has been like, oh, the nerds didn't like it, so I'm not going to go see it. I'm like, all right, well, I saw it and I thought it was good. So just if you're somebody who hasn't seen it and you're like, well, I just heard it's shit. It wasn't shit. Was it the best movie ever? No. But none of them really are. They're just fun little romps. And I'll tell you, to be back in the theater was great. So I thought it was a prequel. I thought it was a movie about Black Widow before she came to America and became an Avenger. It is not. It is not a prequel. Spoiler alert, there's something that happens to Black Widow in Endgame where you're like, well, none of the movies can take place after that. So, it has to be before, but this actually, the timeline for this one is right after the Civil War movie, Captain America Civil War. So this is in between the time from Civil War to Infinity War. So it was a good time, in the timeline. We're not like, oh my God, she looks like she's 30. How is she like a 19-year-old? This was definitely takes place, not too far before Infinity War. There's lots of really charming moments in the movie. It's definitely Marvel's, wheelhouse where they're able to do like really cool action. Of course, as the more they get into the movies, obviously the more budget they get, good directors, things like that. But there's like a lot of really great action scenes in it. The humor is on point. Like, Marvel does a really good job of including, humor and stuff like that. I found it fun. I honestly found it fun. It was a fun action movie. It was a fun, kind of dialogue. It was nice to see the character again, in the sense that, like I try not to do spoilers on my reviews and stuff, but look, if you're like, don't ruin Black Widow and yet you haven't seen Endgame in 2 years, she dies in Endgame, fuckers, spoiler alert. All right. If you don't know this and you're like, I just want to make sure I don't listen, she's dead. So this movie had to happen before. So it was nice for her character to get, especially being like such a mainstay, you know what I mean, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She was literally in the 3rd movie and her characters happened onwards, right? There was Iron Man and Thor before her. That's it. Iron Man 2 was the 3rd movie. She was in that. She was introduced. She was in all the Avengers movies. You know what I mean? So she's been a really strong character, and for some of the other people to come along and get their own solo movies and not her, it was great. It was great to have. I honestly like it. It's not the best story ever, but it was a fun story. It was fun to see her as it was a really fun movie. It was really fun. So if you're looking for something to do, you want to enjoy yourself, go check out fucking, what's her face there? Black Widow. Okay. Another movie I watched. It'll be early on in the podcast to talk about it because I was kind of like, I was sort of hoping to put this in with the shittiest movie later on. But this one was dumb, and I had it on in the background while I was doing other things. But there was a movie called Attack of the 50-Foot Cheerleader. There was a movie from forever ago called Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. And I don't know anything about that movie, but I saw Attack of the 50-Foot Cheerleader. I was like, oh God, this looks like, again, I was on the hunt for the shittiest movie. And so I remember, scrolling through and I'm like, Attack of the 50-Foot Cheerleader. And then like I highlighted it, right? You're scrolling past them to highlight to get the synopsis, and it's like leaving Amazon in like 14 hours or 16 hours or something. So I was like, okay, well, this is like, I'm looking for something. It's literally my last chance. So click on it, starts the show. And it was like, it started off like a Nickelodeon movie in the sense that like the dialogue's kind of like hokey and dorky. The people's characters are such a caricature of that archetype, like the mean head cheerleader, the dorky plain Jane chick who wants to be a cheerleader. And they've got like accentuated greasy hair. Like the first scene, she shows up to cheerleading tryouts with like these giant, special effects zits all over her face and like the greasiest hair you've ever seen. Like, I think that chick from, I Spit on Your Grave came out of her ordeal with less tattered appearance than this bitch. So she showed up like the worst human being ever. I think the chick from The Ring that climbs out of the well looked better than this chick in terms of her hair and her appearance. And she had like a fucking waterlogged face. I hate when this happens. I got my phone plugged in on the other side. Oh, I got an arm now. I can kind of bring it with me to check and see who the fuck is messaging me right now. Nothing important whatsoever. Isn't that fun, guys? Isn't that fun when we learn that nothing people send us is important? So yeah, she shows up to this cheerleading practice. This is when I feel like I can ruin for you because I can't even tell you where to find it now, right? It's gone from Amazon Prime. So, yeah, she goes on to try out. Of course, she sucks. The other girls are like mean. Like this was like, it's hard to say. It's like Mean Girls meets, I don't know. Like the movie was actually legitimized for me when I saw the name Ted Raimi in it. Ted Raimi is the brother of director Sam Raimi, who Sam Raimi directed the old Evil Dead movies. He also directed the new Grudge movies. Not the one with John Cho, I don't believe, but Sam Raimi got involved to direct the original Grudges, or he was like the executive producer who helped bring them over from the Ju-on movies, which is like the Japanese versions of them, and then like, remake them for North America. He's also the director of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. So you'd think, oh shit, he directed the Spider-Man. Like that's a pretty big deal. And if I'm not mistaken, Sam Raimi is also going to be the director of the new Doctor Strange movie. So again, like I'm seeing Ted Raimi. Usually Ted Raimi, he played a character named Joxer in the old Xena show. Like this is some people, the youngins aren't going to know what the fuck I'm talking about, but he just played this dorky guy, but he is the brother of a very famous director, much in the way that Clint Howard, the goofy looking dude with the fucked up teeth, who's like does cameos and everything, is the brother of Ron Howard, insanely successful Hollywood director and so on. So Ted Raimi's kind of that almost that same thing where like, so I saw Ted Raimi's in it. I'm like, oh, well, it can't be that bad if, this dude's in it. Oh my God. It was hokey acting, dorky, like, so this chick, wants to be a cheerleader because her mother was a cheerleader, right? Like dream big. Wouldn't you want to supersede your parents in that regard? Like, oh, my mom was a twat. Maybe if I'm lucky, I can be a twat. And then, she tries it for cheerleading. It doesn't work out. Not to say all cheerleaders are twats. I don't know why I can't just be fucking funny and not worry that someone's going to get upset about it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I'm just saying that, in this particular case, listen, all the cheerleaders were twats and she wanted to be on the bitch squad or whatever. So she's like, my mom was a cheerleader and I just want to make her proud. I'm like, if you want to make your mother proud, don't be a cheerleader. That would be my advice. But I digress. So she's actually very funny enough. Get this. She wants to be a cheerleader, but she's not good enough to be a cheerleader. So she falls back on her science. So this is a chick who's like in a laboratory with this other dude and they're working on this formula that like makes like this ugly hamster thing like attractive. You know what I mean? Like it actually cleans up its facial scars and shit and that actually makes it pretty again. So this chick knows science, but she just can't get on the cheerleading squad. And what kind of mother could be proud of that? Mom, I'm tired of being a doctor and a lawyer. I just want to be a prostitute, like you. I don't know. It just seems stupid, but, I think they missed that one. They're like, so hold on. Her aspiration is to be a cheerleader, but she's already a very successful scientist. Very interesting. And so some dude shows up like that generic, what was it? Generic, like head of the science. The guy doesn't even seem to be in the school. He seems to be like some guy who's privately funding. I'll tell you this. I couldn't tell if they were supposed to be in high school or college. It looked like they were trying to be high school. So I was just like, and I'll tell you, like, again, I'm folding laundry. I'm doing things. I don't remember what I was doing, but I was like, I'm cleaning, I'm organizing, I'm putting shit away, I'm filling a pipe, whatever it is. And this is playing in the background. So like, I'm just like, I'm honestly at any point I'm ready to turn it off and put on something else. As it's just so stupid. And then, she tries out, give me another chance. And then she sucks or something like that a second time. And it's like, you should just kill yourself or whatever they say to it, bullying and such. But she goes to, she decides that fuck fuck waiting. I'm going to do human trials on our new thing. Oh yeah. Sorry. The hacky guy who was funding it was like, will it make bigger tits is what he said. Will it grow tits? And then the Sam Raimi's brother was like, well, actually, sir, he's like, does it or not? He's like, oh yeah, yes, of course. Yes, it'll make big tits, sir. Yes, it'll make big tits. And I was like, the fuck? So, she goes and tries to cheerlead it again. She still sucks, still greasy, still zitty. She injects herself with the sexy sauce or whatever that they're making. And, she wakes up the next day and, her skin's all clear. And it's basically like Spider-Man. She basically makes herself sex Spider-Man. And, and then there's like the scene where she like walks in front of the mirror and checks herself out and she's all happy. And then it was like out of nowhere, the camera's just like back behind her and you see her like stark naked, big fake tits. And I was like, I mean, again, I'm a guy, so I'm like titties, but I hate fake tits. I've said this before in the podcast. I don't like them. They don't look good. They don't look natural. They're phony. I'd rather you love your body than like put big rubber balls on your chest, anyways, sorry, I digress. But at the same time, I was like, aren't these supposed to be like kids? And then you're showing them naked, like, so I don't know. I mean, they're not clear. Like, let's put it this way. They are clearly not children, the actresses, but I'm like, but aren't I supposed to be in the mindset that this is a high school girl and she's standing here stark naked with big tits in front of the, I guess, yeah, I probably should have clued in on that when it was like, they're talking about, will it make big tits? I was probably like, oh, this movie's going to go in the direction of like, pointless nudity. I don't think it was the first 10 minutes, but I'm going to put it in as a Crystal's law. Crystal has said a million times before, if there's it's called tits in the first 10. That's the law. If you see tits in the first 10 minutes of a movie, it's going to be shit. Because why else would you need to put, why would you need to hook your audience to be like, don't worry, there's going to be tits, huh? Titties? Don't worry, there's more to come. So that's the rule, right? Tits in the first 10. I don't know if it was quite in the first 10 minutes, but pretty damn close. So yeah, she injects herself with this stuff and now she's attractive. Then she shows up at some like really hacky, again, it all had a very Nickelodeon vibe, like upbeat music. The music was very like prominent. It wasn't like music like songs. It was music like, ambiance music, but it was so like up. It would sound, honestly, you'd think it was, if you were flipping through the channels and you stopped for like a minute on the dialogue, you'd be like, this is some kid's show, and then move on with it. Very Hannah Montana, fucking, iCarly, that kind of like upbeat, the music kind of, so shy of a laugh track, basically. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was very like, oh, this is like goofy, kiddish, because everyone was so fucking hacky and weird and whatever. And so, she gets, I'm really going off on this subject, huh? She gets, now she's pretty and she fucking gets the attention because she looks good. And I remember then all of a sudden, like she starts growing, and the way that they did her growing, like they did this whole montage of like, she wants to try to be a cheerleader again. And she fucking nails it now because she's attractive or something. Her coordination, apparently this thing just makes her pretty. Apparently it also fixed her coordination, which was the issue the first time. She like went to kick and fell over. It was so stupid. But now she's like, oh, now she's got it down. So, okay, she's on the squad. But then, then she wakes up the next day and she's a little taller. And they're like, oh, what's going on with you? And then it's just this big montage of her trying out and all these different games. So it was kind of dumb because it looked like a lot of time had passed. And it's just these camera shots of like panning by all these girls' shoulders. And then you just see like her stomach. So it's clearly her standing on a box to just be standing above them. Like she doesn't change proportionately. It's just like, oh, look, she's taller than everyone else because she's growing. Montage stays the same. She stays the same height through all of these montage moments. But, after a while, she, wakes up and she's bigger and she like calls her friends and they're like, oh, what's going on? She's like, you got to see this. And then she's like sitting in the pool, the outside pool, and she's naked in the pool because she's obviously outgrown her clothes or whatever. So another opportunity to show her naked and her tits out. And then they walk her over to the part of the school where there's these giant inflated balloons of cheerleaders and they're wearing costumes. So she steals one of the costumes, cheerleading outfits off of the big balloons. And that's what she's going to wear. She's just back to wearing cheerleader clothes for the whole rest of the movie, but she's tall. I really don't remember what the fuck happened. There's other scenes with other women naked needlessly. And like, you can tell these women are old, like, 30s. They look, whether all of them big rubber tits, like all fake, whatever. The guys look like they're in their 40s. They got cracks in their faces. They look like old porn stars. And they're, like, hey, honey, da-da-da. And then, of course, like for some reason, the rat or gerbil or whatever that they'd fixed with the shot turned into a giant spider. It attacks one of these bitches in the fucking room. It wasn't a horror movie. It was just like, it was stupid. It was stupid humor. Anyways, the end scene is like the mean cheerleader decides she's going to take this fucking, she's going to take the serum too. And so the evil dude who wanted this isn't even the shittiest movie. This is literally just a movie I watched. I was hoping it'd be the shittiest, but we found something better. The 50-foot cheerleader chick, the bad bitch, stabs herself too. Then she grows. The guy who was funding it, who wanted the big tits, wants to like capture her and study her, like, as always, like, oh, I want the big tits for everybody. And they end up stopping that guy, easy peasy. And then the other chick who injected herself finally has grown large enough to create some sort of final showdown. And so in front of the whole school on the football field, these two bitches have a final showdown. And of course they end up ripping each other's shirts off. And there's literally like a 5 to 10 minute final, like really shitty fight scene between the two of them. But it's literally just two naked chicks fighting. And I was like, this is the dumb. And she's literally at the end of the movie, like she beats the other woman. Obviously she does. That's not a spoiler. She beats the bad chick and she's literally standing there naked, talking to her mother. She's still tall, but she's like hunched over, naked, tits out, saying to her mother, like, she's like, oh my God, sweetie, what happened? Oh, I'm sorry, Mom. I just wanted to make you proud. Naked. She's naked in front of tons of people. Her mother's not like, oh my God, sweetheart, cover up. You're shaking your tits in front of everyone. I just wanted to make you proud, Mom. You know what I mean? And then whatever, they shoot her with a fucking injection and she shrinks and whatever, end of movie. It was like, I was literally like, was that just 10 minutes of fucking nudity? Two women fighting naked for like, I don't know. It was one of the stupidest movies I've ever seen. It probably should have been the shittiest, but I found another one and I will get to that later on. So Attack of the 50-Foot Cheerleader, unavailable now. One of the most awkward, childish, you know what I mean? And then to have like nudity all the time, like old rubber tits. I don't know. It was weird. Well, that's a good way to burn 20 minutes of the podcast. The point is she made her mother proud, guys, and she followed her dreams. And so if you're a scientist and you want to become a Walmart greeter to make your parents proud, you can do that. If you're a lawyer and all you've ever wanted to do is stretch pizzas at Domino's, you can do that. Okay. You don't need to, work hard in something that actually has success written all over it. You can be mediocre. All right. Start by drinking paint. All right. Really let that settle in, fuck with your brain cells and everything like that. Find anyone who's ever given you a chance and give them the finger. Make sure you burn. That would be my success tip for anyone who's living a life of luxury, success, knowledge, accomplishment, talent. I would say to you, begin by burning every bridge possible. That will ensure that, your path back to success will be a much harder one. And then when you go into Walmart, be sure to rub some dirt into your face and your teeth, gums, hair, right? And then because you don't want to come in with, like proper English and communication skills. If you can, cross your eyes, because I know that if your eyes both point in the same direction, it intimidates the rest of the Walmart employees, right? They're not going to hire you if you're going to make them look bad every day, right? You go in there speaking proper English, eyes both point in the same direction, no dirt rubbed into your face, teeth and hair. They're going to think you're from corporate. You can't have that. They're not going to hire you, right? If you're like, no, I'm here to apply. And they're like, no, that's not, clearly you've got, stuff going on for you. No, you want that greeter job at Walmart. You got to rub the dirt. All right. Cross your eyes, slur your speech. You know what I mean? I would say, get yourself in the mood. Get yourself in the mood. Make it with a homeless person. You know what I mean? That'll really, it'll mess with your teeth. It'll get that aroma on you. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. That's my advice. So back to something else. I got this like weird, like little pinch feeling in the back of my throat, like a tickle. Not like I'm getting sick. It's just this weird, like as if there was like a toothpick just poking into the back of my throat. It kind of hurts, my friends. It kind of hurts. What else? The Movies That Made Us. I watched that series. I don't know if you guys know that series. It's there's a series on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us, and I could not recommend it more. My friend Paul Boulouillet in Montreal recommended it to me. I've watched every single episode. It came out with 4 episodes. Then they added another 4. Now the second 4 were already planned. Their little intro song. It's like. It's an 8-part documentary series about the toys that we all know. Plastic creations that last for generations and we still can't let them go. And I could still keep going, but great series, but it was clearly part to be 8 because it's an 8-part, but then they made even more of them. They're like, it's the continuing documentary series. So I believe there is a total of 12 episodes, but they cover things like Ninja Turtles, He-Man, G.I. Joe, Barbie, Hello Kitty, Lego, like all these great just historical toys, things that you may have grown up with. The Star Wars toys, some other ones I can't think of obviously off the top of my head, but great documentaries. Well, they made that same production company, whatever, did The Movies That Made Us. So they go in and they explore the movies and things that happened and how were they made or whatever. And the first 4 that came out, I believe they came out prior to COVID, The Movies That Made Us. I could be wrong, but came out prior to COVID. They did Ghostbusters. They did Home Alone, Die Hard, and Dirty Dancing. They did Dirty Dancing. So they have created another 4. They did Jurassic Park, Forrest Gump, Pretty Woman, and Back to the Future. And I've watched the Jurassic Park and the Forrest Gump iterations of The Movies That Made Us, and I could not recommend them more. It's really cool how they do it. The narration, the production value of these documentaries is really cool. They're not like boring documentaries. They're really good. Really good. Jurassic Park was cool to watch because you saw like the inception of like how Michael Crichton came up with the idea for his book and then the rewrites and the things that happened, how he sold it. There was a really cool thing about how they made the computer generated dinosaurs, how they were going to do it with stop motion. And then the guys at ILM, which is Industrial Light and Magic, George Lucas's company. Okay. I think someone's throwing shit down the stairs. So, what was I going to say? Sorry, completely trained. Yes, they were going to use stop motion for the dinosaurs. They explained like why stop motion looks weird and everything like that. But yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it was like what ended up happening was so fucking cool. It's one of those things where like it was this close to not happening. But it was really cool what they did. It was a phenomenal documentary, just how they, filmed things and what they did and this and that. Wicked to watch. Also, Forrest Gump was the other one that I watched. Life is like, Mama said life is like a box of chocolates. And then he starts chewing. You never know what you're going to get. Well, if you read the box, you do. But that's okay, because stupid is as stupid does. I watched Forrest Gump, and that one too was like, it was like a book some dude wrote about a simple guy and his life or whatever. And they actually gave me a really interesting, watching that one, glimpse as to how scripts kind of circle their way through Hollywood. Sometimes it's a book, then someone writes a script and it sits in like a box. And sometimes they go into like, I can't remember not recycle was not the word or whatever. Turnaround, I don't believe was the other one, but, the idea is just kind of like how scripts go and then people work on them. You get to see how they made, Forrest Gump was so iconic, right? And, it didn't really recognize the fact at the time, but it was kind of like Tom Hanks was working on coming out of comedic roles and trying to get into things more serious. It was only a year or two later after Forrest Gump that he ended up being in Saving Private Ryan. But, he had done Philadelphia prior to that. And I'm trying to remember there was, Apollo 13, I believe was before that as well. But he was trying to get out of these goofy, roles and into stuff more serious. Now you'd think Tom Hanks, of course you think serious roles. But at the time he was, goofy, curly haired Turner and Hooch, fucking When Harry Met Sally, that kind of stuff. Very more so Billy Crystal than, the roles that he's known for now. But that was really cool. Robert Zemeckis was the director of Forrest Gump, and Robert Zemeckis has always been big on visual effects. Robert Zemeckis is a name you probably wouldn't know because he's not Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, or Steven Spielberg. But he is a huge visual guy. He did Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He did Back to the Future, which is one of the other ones on the movies that made us. So in terms of Who Framed Roger Rabbit having cartoon characters in, like the first live action movie that had cartoon characters interacting with human beings, huge. He did Back to the Future, another great visual effects movie. He did Death Becomes Her with Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn, if I'm not mistaken, as well as Bruce Willis, who played the lead. Excuse me, the lead male in that movie, which was like all about these women who like. I hope I said Death Becomes Her and not. He did do What Lies Beneath as well with Michelle Pfeiffer and Harrison Ford, which is another great movie. But he had done Romancing the Stone. Like the guy has been involved in like shit that looks good. And of course, Forrest Gump, right? Forrest Gump was kind of groundbreaking in a lot of the CGI, with Lieutenant Dan missing legs and things like that, right? So they were thinking like, oh, there's a scene where he's got no legs. He's laying in bed. His legs are probably just in the bed. And then the nurse picks him up and he's there with no fucking legs and he just, takes them and he sticks them fucking, he sticks him on the bed and in the gurney or whatever and wheels him out. It's like, holy fuck. So they show you how all that stuff happened. But yeah, I even mentioned on Tales from in a previous episode that when I was watching Tales from the Crypt, right around the same time, 94, there was an episode of Tales from the Crypt where the Crypt Keeper was dressed like Forrest Gump, and it was an episode that was directed by Robert Zemeckis that had a lot of that facial stuff in it. You know what I mean? Where you in Forrest Gump, they had John Lennon speaking, John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon. So, anyways, it was a good movie. It was a good documentary movie. Forrest Gump was a good movie. The Thing was good. I enjoy like learning about that shit. And somebody in the entertainment business, it doesn't hurt to know a little bit more about how scripts go around, how, they make deals and how the casting and shit like that works. But it's really fascinating. So, the only one I didn't watch in the first series was Dirty Dancing. I fell asleep in the movie. I never saw it. I tried watching it once years ago with Crystal. I literally passed out in the first 10 minutes. And I woke up seconds before she runs towards him and he lifts her into the air. And I didn't realize that the entire movie, I'd seen that before, with the song, I've had the time of my life. And then up in the air. Well, I didn't realize the entire movie he was trying to hoist her fat ass into the air and kept falling off or whatever it is. Apparently they hated each other too. Patrick Swayze and Jennifer, what the fuck is her name? I'm going to make you guys sit here while I Jeopardy. Let's see what the name. Some people are Jennifer Grey. Is it Jennifer Grey? It might be Jennifer Grey. Dirty Dancing on IMDb. I'm telling you guys, what a great fucking app. Now all I have to do is hope that the internet works, which the fucking Wi-Fi is going down constantly. So let's go into LTE mode. Is that your podcast, Josh? We tune in to hear you try to find things. Yeah, because it'll drive me crazy and it'll take me longer to try to get my brain back on track. Jennifer Grey. There we go. Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey, Jerry Orbach, who put baby in the corner, as far as I know. I know that's a line from the movie. Like, I know Jesus Christ, she doesn't look anything like herself anymore. She looks nothing. Tales from the Crypt presents Ritual. What the fuck is that? I don't recall this at all. She was in that apparently. Yeah, she looks nothing like herself. Go to IMDb, guys. The first one you see. She was also Ferris Bueller's older sister, the one making out with Charlie Sheen. So, yeah, she hasn't looked like this in a long time. She's kind of goofy looking, too. That's very judgmental of you, Joshua. Well, it is what it is, guys. There was the Dirty Dancing there's a television series about Dirty Dancing. Come on. And it had the cute chick who played, what's her face? Jan on The Office. Her name, if anyone gives a shit, is Melora Hardin. And then some guy, Patrick Cassidy. Paul Feig. Oh, Paul Feig, the director of the terrible, all-female casted Ghostbusters. And he also did A Simple Favor. Yeah, Freaks and Geeks, Heat. He did Spy. Heavyweights, which was a piece of shit. He was in the movie Heavyweights. So it looks like he's an actor turned director. Anyways, all right, let's get the fuck out of this. I didn't watch Dirty Dancing from the first one because I didn't give a fuck about it. Maybe I should. I should probably watch the movie before I watch everything behind the scenes. But, yeah. And I tell you right now, I don't give a fuck about Pretty Woman because I haven't seen that either. That's the one where a rich guy finds I don't know, how do you say this nicely? A fucking hooah. He finds a fucking hooah, fucks her, then says, take my money and go pretty yourself up. It's almost like 50 Shades of Grey, except without the choke fucking, you know what I mean? Like this is a guy who has money, for some reason can't get a regular woman, so finds a prostitute and is like, don't worry, I'll make a fucking woman out of you. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I haven't seen it, so maybe I'm just, but this is what, and then everyone's like, you know, I'm like, this is like a PG-13 movie. She's a prostitute. And, you know, then he's like, oh, I love you. I want to marry you. Be my wife, you fucking hooah. Right? 50 Shades of Grey. This guy's got like fucking money and he's got to find the plainest, you know what it is, right? In 50 Shades of Grey, this guy he's a millionaire, billionaire, whatever the woman who wrote him to be. She basically made him attractive, young, rich, all this shit. And then was like, you know what he likes though? The most boring bitch possible. And the reason for that is so that every woman reading it could be like, oh my God, I could have been Anastasia. I can be that level of boring for a billionaire. You know, they have so much money available to them. They're probably tired of exciting things. He can just watch me eat ice cream and pet my cats and then smash my ass with that weird spiky paddle thing. I can get him where he's going sexually. You know what I mean? And I believe it, right? I can't make this joke towards males. So if women are like, why are you making fun of women? I'm like, because, well, women are the ones that want the rich guy, right? And I would imagine that, you know, they probably could fulfill him sexually, you know, to an extent, but anything involving putting parts of him in their mouths, you know, I would feel like the large women would have more experience putting shit in their mouths. Oh, rude. I'm fucking around. I'm trying to make this shit funny. I'm just like, but that's, again, going back to the actual strategy of that book is like, get boring, plain women excited to read their pornography. That's the beauty of women, right? Women are sexual beings as well. They enjoy a sexual thing, but they can't just watch porn. They literally have to read their porn, which was the funniest thing in the entire world when they're like, we're going to make it into a movie. It's like, it's a fucking porno. You can't make it into a movie. It's going to be fucking weird. And it was the stupidest, weirdest thing. Like I didn't watch it, but I just remember like someone had it on. I saw the last 2 seconds where it's like, literally he runs to an elevator and he's like, Anastasia. And she's like, Christian. And then the doors close. And I was like, that's the end of the movie. That seems stupid. 37 minutes. Yeah. I'm getting you guys an hour and I'm not even trying. Or maybe for you guys, it feels like a goddamn, hike. All right. I'll leave the movies that made it. Like I said, Back to the Future is the only other one that I'm excited about. Pretty Woman. Maybe I'll watch that and we'll find out what the fuck they were thinking. Although it is a classic to some people who are like, oh, I love to know that I could fall on the hardest of times and a rich man will just scoop me out of the gutter and make me a princess. I think is the moral of that story. I watched it. Like I said, I watched another episode of Loki. Still haven't finished it. I'm a Marvel guy, but WandaVision had me excited for these new Disney Plus Marvel shows. I didn't quite get it at first, but I was watching. I was like, oh, this is good. Falcon and the Winter Soldier felt a little too Captain America-y in the sense that like some of the Captain America movies are very like political in the sense that they're like, oh, what's right and freedoms of the world and blah, blah, blah. Fine. But then like at the end, there'll be like a big fight scene and some payoff and some really cool shit in the Captain America stuff too. Like Captain America Civil War was like, you know, very politically charged narratively of like the whole, like, what if they send us somewhere we shouldn't go? What if there's somewhere they don't send us and we should? Like, you know, like it was the moral dilemma of like, you know, we need to be put in check, but yes, we also need to not be owned. Like it has good. And when you get it, if you got a goddamn Avengers movie where there's a bunch of different characters all fighting and shit, it was awesome. You know, But Falcon and the Winter Soldier just felt really lame. And at the end of it, it's a guy in a costume standing there having a big speech about, is it going to be okay to be a black Captain America? It's like, oh, okay. It's fine. I got no issue with it. I knew Sam was going to end up being Captain America. Cap gave him a shield at the end of Endgame. Spoiler from Endgame number 2. Again, if you haven't seen it, no one's saving Falcon and the Winter Soldier and hasn't seen Endgame. Anyways, so I didn't love Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I'm like, okay, but I mean, you could tell that they're planning on doing more and they're setting up for future movie stuff. So it's like a little piece of the puzzle. They had some more characters, but, Loki, it started off first episode I found interesting, felt kind of Guardians of the Galaxy-ish. Then the second one was like, third one was like, fourth one was like, don't hate them, but it's like something to throw. It took me a long time. Like, again, I've got normally a Marvel thing. I would just consume it. WandaVision, I watched every episode that we came out. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think 1, 2, 3. And then I was then I wasn't in a hurry, and Loki, I could give a fuck. I think that, Marvel What If is coming out next, which is a series. I know that they did in the comic books. It's like, what if Gwen Stefani had been bit by the spider instead of Spider-Man? What if, they just pick random characters, and say like, well, what if this had happened instead of that? And, and they give you a storyline or whatever. So Marvel What If, I believe, is a cartoon, and that will be coming out on Disney Plus. And then I think the last one that I'm aware of is, Hawkeye, I think it's called, where effectively Jeremy Renner, who plays the current Hawkeye, will pass the torch to his daughter, who will play like the new Hawkeye again. It's kind of like moving the old characters out and moving them in, going along in line with the comic books and stuff like that. So, that's it. I could give a fuck about Loki. Apparently the whole thing that people have told me that the story as a whole, when it's all wrapped up, is like, okay, that's a good story. The difference, though, between the movies and the shows is the movies sit down, and by the time you get up, you've consumed the entire story. Whereas, these are slightly longer movies, but there's a bit of fluff in them. So to watch 3 or 4 episodes, it's like walking out of a movie halfway through and trying to enjoy what you saw. And you're like, well, it was designed to be all a part of one thing. So, yeah. Anyways, that's where I'm at with that shit. I played Codenames with my internet family. That's right. My internet family. What is an internet family, Josh? Well, that is a bunch of people who spent the pandemic with me virtually. We met on PlayStation and we continue to chat. We have a Facebook group, and we just kind of shoot the shit. It's just a group of people who are arbitrarily there so that we don't all go stir crazy living our solo lives, doing our things. It's just kind of nice. And as COVID is opening up, a lot of us are getting busier again, but it is still nice to, people who, when we're just stuck at home doing nothing, people to shoot the shit with. So the internet family and I played a game of Codenames. And for anyone who's never played Codenames, I will say that you can play for free at codenames.game. To play the original game, you do need 4 players, but these people can play anywhere, which is how we've been playing at codenames.game. So as opposed to, something.com, it's codenames.game, G-A-M-E. And you can play remotely with anybody in the world. If you have family members you haven't seen in a while, it's a great way to sit down and play with them. I will say, for anyone who's never played, I'm not going to give the rundown of the rules because I've mentioned it a few times to the regular listeners. I was part of the Codenames Summer Bash with my buddy, Tim Riel. His channel is, on Twitch. So you can actually watch Tim and his people, play twice a week. It's on Monday evenings and Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern. So, the channel is twitch.tv/Tim_Riel, which is R-I-E-L, Tim_R-I-E-L. So one more time right from the top, it's twitch.tv/Tim_Riel. And you can watch him and his crew play the game Codenames. So if you're like, oh, that's a free game and it's an award-winning game, he is officially sponsored and partnered with the creators of the game. So it is completely sanctioned as the only official, Codenames live game, on the planet. So you can watch twice a week. If you're like, oh, that sounds like a fun game. Josh has talked about it. Why don't you jump in, watch an episode of Codenames Live, hosted by my buddy Tim Riel, or alternatively, you can watch a YouTube, video, from the show Tabletop that is hosted by Will Wheaton. From Star Trek and Big Bang Theory and numerous other things. Will Wheaton hosted a show called Tabletop for 4 seasons on YouTube. But you can just type in Tabletop space Codenames and you will get the episode. It is incredibly high budget. high production value show, so you can actually watch Codenames played. And after watching that video, you'll know how to play it. It's actually, I would say, easier to watch someone play it than it is to kind of read the rules, because they can be a little like, wait, what? What does that mean? Super easy. It's a word association game. But having said that, I played with the internet family for the first time in the last little bit, and we played again the other night, and it's just fun. It's a great way for us to do something together, playing the same game, but of course, playing in New York, Texas, Canada, all this different stuff. It was a lot of fun. We played with one of our players though, and I will say this. One of the guys, I was like, listen, buddy, you got to Google these words. If you don't know what the word means, you got to Google it. There's nothing, I'm not going to fault you points for Googling. You got to know what the word is if you're going to play. And I think he may have got a little overwhelmed. I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to out anybody, make anybody feel bad. But it was like, I can give you an example. So for starters, he did great. In the very beginning, I told him, like, Google something if you don't know it. And he listened and he did it and it helped. So for example, I had the words horse, sheep, and platypus. I needed him to guess those words. But there was also penguin on the board, and penguin was the other team's word. So I couldn't give the clue animal because it would make a lot of sense for him to pick penguin, right? So I'm like, okay, well, animal can't work because there is a chance, even though there's 3 of our words, there's a chance that he'll pick penguin and end our turn. So I rethink and I'm like, well, wait a second. Platypus is 4 legs, horse is 4 legs, sheep is 4 legs, but a penguin is 2-legged. So I pick the word quadruped, right? 4-legged for 3. So I told him, go ahead and Google the word if you don't know. He did. He learned what it was, a 4-legged animal. And he went bang, 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 picked horse, platypus, and sheep. Boom, all like 3 cards right off the top. Amazing. Great start to our game. But as the game went on, he stopped doing that, and he stopped thinking about previous clues. So for example, there was a thing later on, I don't remember what the clue was, but for some reason he thought I meant penguin. And so at the end of the game, I was like, dude, if I meant penguin, if penguin was one of our words, I wouldn't have said quadruped earlier. I would have said animal for 4. You know what I mean? Like, why would you go back to a word that I worked very hard to avoid in the beginning? Like, there's a lot of strategies to the game. So you wouldn't go back to a word and go, I was playing with Dylan the other night, and Dylan, I think the word was couch that he gave me. But there was the word, foam, and the word, change, like change falls into the couch and couches are made out of foam. But also the word smell was there. And I was like, oh, it could be a smelly couch. But then I'm like, cause I thought foam for sure. And I clicked on foam. Foam was right. Foam was one of our words. Cause I'm thinking, the foam cushions and couches. But then I thought smell. And I was like, you know what? If foam and smell were the words that he wanted me to pick, he would probably type in the name of some sort of smelly spray foam. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Styrofoam or something. Well, he couldn't do that because the words. Anyways, the idea is that, like, so I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, he would have come up with a smelly foam if it was smell and foam, but he didn't. He said couch. And so the idea that couch is made of foam and, you can lose your change in the couch. It'll fall into the couch. I did that and I went with the 2 words. So that was kind of like how you got to play Codenames, is you kind of got to take a second and think about it and go, if they're connected too easily, why would they pick such a difficult word? So this other character, now this is the other person who later picked, penguin. That's not the end of the world. Sometimes you forget the previous clues, but this was one that was rough. This one was rough. I will probably bring it down to like one of the most bonehead, things I've ever seen in my life. One of the clues in Codenames, or one of the things of the Codenames game, is that you give a number, right? So like I said, I did quadruped for 3, which lets my partner know that there's 3 words on the board related to the word quadruped. So at one point, Angie is playing and she gives her partner, who's the person in question, the clue elephant. Okay. She gives the word elephant, and on the board is the word. So she said elephant for 1, not elephant for like 6 or anything like that. Elephant for 1, literally 1 word on this board is related to elephant. And I have to tell you guys, the word ivory is there. Now, most, in fact, my mentality going before this is anybody of adult age would see the word ivory and know immediately what it was. All right. But I have since learned that some people rub dirt into their teeth and get a job at Walmart. Idiots don't come from nowhere. They exist. In fact, there's many different names for them too, I've actually learned. In fact, I'm going to share some of them with you now. I got to pull it up here on the computer. Barely turn my face. All right, where is it? Oh, yeah. All right, so get this, gang. Right, speaking of code names and different words, right, word association. Do you know how many words for idiot there are? Guys, we got fool, jerk, moron, nitwit, stupid, twit, blockhead, bonehead, cretin, dimwit, dork, dumbbell, dunce, ignoramus, that's a good one, imbecile, right, kook, muttonhead, nincompoop, ninny, pinhead, simpleton, tomfool, and out to lunch, baby. There's actually other ones if you put in other synonyms, but it was just, I'm like, it just felt like a fucking fun thing for me to just run on a train of words for idiots. Because some of them can't self-identify as well as they should be able to. The point is, Angie says elephant. The word ivory was there. Everyone's like, easy. It's only one clue. It's only one card. Easy. Well, this nice, young, kind, yet simple man doesn't know what the word ivory means, and has given up on the working strategy of Googling the word if you don't know it. Has given up. When he did that, it worked. And so it's that, why would you do that again? Something, if you know what the old idiot saying is, right? If it works, go fix it. Right. That's what Jason does with the internet around here. It works. And then he goes, I gotta get faster internet. And he fucks the whole thing up. Anyways, fuck's sakes, Josh. Sorry. I'm just looking at the time and, to see if I put my internet back on my phone. Because the Wi-Fi is always broken. I literally 3-4 times a day have to disconnect from the Wi-Fi and go back to the regular cellular data because our Wi-Fi is not working. So this guy doesn't know what ivory is. It's clearly the answer. He's moved past it. I don't know what that word is, and I'm never gonna, right? That must have been the dialogue in his head. So, he's looking around the board, and now his opponent is allowed to fuck with him and try to cast doubt. And he says to him, New York. Oh, look, the word New York is there. And New York might have elephants in it. New York is a North American, Northern Hemisphere, city that experiences winter. And elephants are predominantly African animals. Southern Hemisphere, warm climate, does not experience winter. Snowfall, I should say. And his opponent goes, you know what? I think that there's a zoo in New York. I'm not aware of one, but the New York Zoo in this guy's head. And he goes, you know what? I think you're right. I think of all the words, right? If Angie's going to give me a clue for one, of all the words that you can think of in the English language, nouns or otherwise, elephant would probably be the best clue for New York. Wouldn't be Liberty, wouldn't be Manhattan, skyscrapers, I don't know, Empire, island, subway, taxis, all those things. No, Angie in her infinite wisdom would have sat there and gone, Jesus Christ, how do you associate? When I think of New York, elephants, they're the first fucking thing that come to mind. Anyways, this guy with confidence decides that New York was what elephant was all about. And any guesses? Spoiler alert, was not the correct answer. I was just like, oh my God, that is, I've never seen someone, I'm not even trying to throw this much shade, but I was just like, this wasn't like, oops, you made a mistake, a boner, let's fucking, let's bust a little balls. This was like round after round after round. I remember I said the word sword because one of our words was musketeer. And he goes, well, musketeers don't have swords. Wrong again, buddy. Google it, and then click image and look at them. You know what I mean? I will allow those levels of, I'm even saying like thinking of the description of the episode. It was hilarious. It was fun. We had a good time playing, but holy shit, it made it difficult. It made it difficult to like, basically it was kind of like, who's going to take them on their team next time? Cause it's, you know, unfortunately, this game isn't just shapes and colors, you know. But hey, you know, God bless them. Put them in the blue vest. Let them greet the customers when they come in to get their shirts and pants and, you know, microwavable fucking Pop-Tarts, their Hot Pockets and all that shit. I feel a little bit bad. I feel like a little bit of a cocksucker, but moving on with my life. Okay. Guys, I was gonna take some time with this one, but I think I don't even have enough time to get into it. I have been playing with the products that I picked up. I've been visiting stores. I've been buying more, not buying more per se, but receiving orders that I've placed. I am about, so here's what I'm about. All right. I'm about rubbing it up here. I am about beard oils, beard balms, beard washes. I'm learning what I need to do to my beard to keep it soft, right? For years, I just grew a beard and I'd comb it. I'd wash it with shampoo, which I didn't realize was drying out my hair. I'd put all that shit in there and rinse it out. And, you know, that was it. And I would just notice that, like, I would get like beard dandruff. I'd wear a black shirt and I'd have like little bits of dust on me. Like I said, like someone basically fucking, you know, tapped a drywall sandpaper near me and just had like little fine white dust on me. You know, later learned about beard oils. I would apply them, but didn't do it on a regular basis. I would forget, you know, like once every few days, maybe even a few weeks, I would put beard oil in and it helped. It really did help. I would spend more time in the shower letting the water hit it. Well, now I use beard oil every single day when I get out of the shower. I now use beard wash and beard conditioner because it nourishes the hairs on my face, differently than the hairs on my head, as they should. So yeah, and beard balms are like a nice little sort of like beeswaxy, you know, an emulsified thing you rub in your hands to just kind of help tame some of the flyaway hairs and the scraggly stuff. So that's exciting. I have got, you know, after receiving like samples and things like that, I have got a myriad of, beard products, here at the house. I've probably got, not bragging, maybe 7 or 8, maybe more different beard oils. Some from the same company. I would say at least I've got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different beard company products for oils. A few different beard washes, a few different beard balms. The phone's starting to go a little crazy. Groovy. Boo, 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 boo. Sorry. Guys, it's a little distracting. I apologize. I am also dabbling a little bit in different kinds of shaving creams. So I used to have still do Dr. Carver's EVG shave butter. I also went and got my beard groomed. As a matter of fact, I went and got like a cool little hipster sort of beard joint. I got my beard cut. I was mentioning that last episode. Looks good. I'm happy with it. Taking good care of it. Right. I've been oiling it and everything like that. So prior to that, it was oiling and this and that, beard wash, yada, yada. So I'm about it. I am using Dr. Carver's shave butter to keep the line up on the bottom nice and fresh. Okay. Computer. In fact, I'm going to close this so we're not getting constant email notifications. So yeah. Dr. Carver's Easy Shave Butter from Dollar Shave Club. I'm using the last of that. I've canceled that subscription. I don't shave my head with Bic anymore. Like the Bic style. Holy fuck, phone. Okay. Well, there we go. That's a little update. That'll work perfectly. Okay. I'll tell you what that text message was because it's pertinent to what I am talking about here. So, beard wash, beard balms, the shaving products. I don't Bic my head anymore, but I am using the straight razor, the ones that I have left over to kind of help line up the neck portion and the cheeks, keep that all nice and clean. So Dr. Carver's Easy Shave Butter is one of the sort of non-shaving foam, right? It's more of just kind of like a neck butter, whatever, but it does make shaving nice and smooth and very comfortable, really minimizes the razor bumps. Aside from that, I received from L'Occitane en Provence, the nice French store with like the super expensive, you know, creams and balms and scrubs and all that stuff. It was amazing. I got a bottle of beard oil from them and a, face wash, or not face wash, I apologize, shaving cream, which feels amazing. Honestly, it smells like zinc. It smells like zinc, like oil, not oil, but like balm salve. Like it just goes on. It smells so good. You just rub it onto the neck or whatever. I haven't shaved with it yet, but I did pull a little in my finger and just smell it. And I was like, oh, and I rubbed it on my neck and I was just like, oh, it felt so hydrated afterwards. So I've got that to try out. And then I've got one from Lush called Dirty. It's part of the Dirty series. So I have the Dirty hair, paste and the Dirty, I have almost everything from that series, actually. The Dirty, not moisturizer, shaving cream. Yeah. Dirty shaving cream, Dirty hair product. I have the Dirty, toothpaste tabs and the Dirty body wash. So apparently when you use all 4 of them together, it gives you this particular scent profile because they don't all smell the same. So, ding, that's the text is going off again. Yeah, I'm about that stuff. So the shaving creams, and I'll tell you guys, I guess, about it as I start to use them. I'm trying to use up the old shit that I have. You know what I mean? Like I've still got like Old Spice body washes and things like that. I didn't name the soap company because again, here's the thing, some companies I didn't reach out to, but if I reached out to a company and I was like, hey, would you be interested in maybe partnering with the podcast or whatever? If they, say no or don't respond to me, I'm not naming you, I'm not like, listen, give me thousands of dollars. I'm like, listen, just send me some free shit. Send me some free shit. Let me try it. Let me tell everybody how much I love it. They don't do it, so fuck them. So the soap company that I use now, the number one soap company that I use, the number one, if you Google, I'll even give them that. If you Google, top whatever soaps for men or whatever, and then you start watching some of the YouTube videos that come up, you'll get their name. You'll figure out who it is. But the idea is that I'm using the soaps, which feel really nice to get like a good, fresh, clean, natural, organic sort of feel to your skin. So those in conjunction with like the beard oils and washes and balms and all that fun stuff. I'm also having to play around with the scents in the sense that, one of them SCEN, and then of course the other one is SENS. That like I'll have like for example my Viking Revolution beard washes, like beard wash and beard conditioner, so it's like shampoo and conditioner for the beard, has a sandalwood smell. So I've actually had to order an unscented one from them, because the beard balm that I'm currently using is a Bay Rum beard balm, and the oil that I'm using is a Prorazo beard oil, which has like a wooden spice smell to it. So the idea is I'm trying to like coordinate some of these natural beard oils that don't have smells with shampoos that are unscented, so that if I decide to put like a beard balm on top of my beard that has a smell, that's the only smell in there, as opposed to like wooded smells from the washes, and then spice smells from the oil, and then sweet rum smells from the balm. It's more of like have a bunch of unscented shit. I do have a sandalwood, like with the Viking Revolution, I do have a sandalwood smell balm and oil. So I would use that in conjunction with the wash and conditioner. They're all the same smell. So, go ahead and use them all together, but having a series of like, unscented balms, so that if the oil I'm using is scented, I can just put the unscented balm on it and we'll get the scent of the oil. And of course, unscented wash and conditioner too. So, it's kind of goofy. I have so much of the shit now that I'll actually have to create profiles to be like, okay, use this one with that one. These ones go together. These ones don't. None of this is particularly interesting to you guys, but it was just funny to be like acquiring this stuff going like, oh, I like how this smells. We go, yeah, but you're going to use it all together. You don't want to fucking confuse yourself. So same with the soaps and stuff like that. They smell really good while showering and everything. So yeah, I'm kind of about that. I know I've mentioned some of these other things, but, I've also got some body washes. So again, I've got like this old bottle of, I think it's called Amber Old Spice body wash. I almost want to give it away because I don't really want to be using these ones that are like detergents, but I don't like wasting. So I'm almost like, oh fuck, I've used up an entire bar of this really good natural soap, which feels good. I'm like, do I want to go back to body wash just to make use of it? And, I think the answer is no, but I can't, give someone an opened bottle of body wash. You want this? It's like, why don't you want it? I'm like, cause I don't put detergent on my body anymore, but you can go ahead. I don't like you enough to keep detergent off of you. You know what I mean? Seems weird, right? I've also, decided to stop using, antiperspirant just because of the fact that, the aluminum in it basically clogs your pores and fucks with your body. Also the sweat mixes with the aluminum. That's what creates those big, ugly, yellow, pit stains. So I'm just thinking like, you know what? I don't know, whatever. It's not a conversation that you guys have to listen to, but I'm just telling you, I have been very focused on reading reviews, things like that. I also picked up some more soaps from a different company, whom I haven't reached out to yet, so no free advertisement for them, but they make some pretty big ass soaps, and their shit's not entirely all natural. There are some like fragrances and stuff like that, but their soap's huge. I like the smell. And I want to give it a try. So I placed an order, and I will, as soon as I receive that, I'll let you guys know what I think. But my current soap subscription, I did not subscribe to the big soap company. I'm still soap subscribed to the other one. But you know, we'll see what happens. The hairstyling products that I looked at too, right? Cause my hair's really thin. I am balding at the back. I have been for years. It's not really getting any worse, just that it's just not great. So my hair is thin and it's thinning. So I need something that has like, you know, some nice hold. I gotta keep my hair short so that it's less apparent. And so the things that I use to keep my hair, you know, styled is, I use more like clays and pomades and creams. I can't use gel. Gel just sticks everything together, and I'm over gel. Gel is gross. I picked up this stuff called Sea Spray from Lush, which is supposed to have like salt and shit in it and kind of give you spray it into your hair when it's to help sort of style it. And I think when it's wet, and it gives almost that same effect that like when you go swimming in salt water and you come out and your hair is kind of poofier. The idea is that it'll sort of, give a little boost to your hair. So I've got the Sea Spray from Lush. That came in the mail today because it was sold out in the store, as was the Dirty Hair, styling cream. So, I'm going to try the Sea Spray, see what I think of that. I have not attempted it yet, but give it a try. Just sort of spray that like toner into my hair. I have friends reminding me on a regular basis that I am a heterosexual male, by the way. But you know what? I am detoxifying my masculinity. I can still be masculine, all right? You heard me calling cheerleaders twats earlier. I can still be a fucking toxic male. I'm just detoxing. I'm using these natural products to pull my toxic masculinity down a little bit, all right? So again, with the hair products, I'm still using my Old Spice fucking pomades, whatever. But again, I don't feel like wasting. So I'm going to just keep using shit till it's gone. And then, you know, and then I start using the natural shit that I've acquired. So, for the hairstyling, it's, you know, I've got some jars of like, American Crew I've used and I've liked. But I'm open to anyone like, please know that with all this shit, dudes, please tell me what you're using, guys. I would love to know what you guys are using in your regimes. And, it would be really, really cool. Like Jason is a toxic male, no better specimen of it, but he's got an entire top of his dressers covered in fucking products. You know what I mean? So he uses shit too. I would love to know what you guys are using and for different things. So like I even got this little thing called, what was it? Cosmetic Warrior Moisturizer. They sent me a sample of that in my order. And, I'm just going to try to, you know, keep my face moist. You know what I mean? Yeah. You want to keep you big guy come on your face? If it works and it's free. But all I'm saying is like, I've got a bunch of shit. I also got like face scrubs from Lumen, that company that like, I mean, dude, I'm such a consumer, man. If you'll send me a free sample, I'll fucking take it. Why wouldn't I try it? It's free. So I've got some Lumen stuff where it's got like an exfoliating rub and a cleansing, you know, a facial cleanser and moisturizing. I'll fuck with that all day long. Put that shit on my face, right? If it works, feels good. And I gotta be honest, some of these things I'm getting out of, I'm like, fuck, that feels good. My face feels nice and soft. I'm fucking with shampoos, right? Beard oils, beard balms, beard washes, the shaving products, and my soaps and my body washes, right? The Dirty body wash is like a gel, you know, soapy body wash. And again, I'm trying to steer away from that kind of stuff. I don't know how natural everything isn't it, but they gave me a small, you know, like a $10 bottle free trial. I was like, oh fuck, that's very nice of you guys. Shout out to the angels at the Lush store in the Rideau Center for their kindness. And then of course, finally is shampoos, right? Working on the hair, trying to make my hair nice, keep it clean. Again, I'm losing it, so I'd love for it to be as nourished as possible. So I have, you know, looked into different things. I have got, 3 different shampoo products, all from Lush. Yes, they are all from Lush. And I have other shampoos, again, here at home that I will use up and make sure that I'm out of. But 3 products from Lush that I'm interested to try. I've got 2 samples of their... so here, let's go over this way. If you guys don't know, maybe I'll be telling you something you didn't know about. And I got these from travel videos on YouTube. Okay. So for starters, I'm going to hit the two travel things that caught my attention that I was like, oh, I want to get these. I believe I mentioned on a previous podcast, so I'll make it quick, is when you're traveling, you have an allotment of how many liquid products you can bring. It's traveling by plane, of course. You have an allotment of how many liquids you can bring. So, shampoos, toothpastes, mouthwashes are all, liquids. Well, Lush has a, solid toothpaste, which is like a little tablet that you put in your mouth, take a sip of water, and then, it dissolves, and then you use that. You brush your teeth with the shit that's in your mouth. That's something that's because it's a dry thing. They're tablets. They do not count against your liquid allotment. Number two, they also have a solid, mouthwash. Again, tablets. Crunch them up, or you put a little water in your mouth, crunch them up in the water, and it effectively turns into mouthwash in your mouth, swish it around, spit it out. Boom. You've got your toothpaste and your, mouthwash are no longer counting against your liquid allotment because you have them in solid form. On top of that, one of these videos had suggested Lush shampoo bars. So what's a shampoo bar? Basically what it sounds like. It's like a bar. It's like a little round puck that's like a bar of soap, but it's very concentrated soap. And the idea is that you take this, it's like a bar, you rub it, you wet your hair, you rub the bar against your hair. I've already tested out the Scenic bar, and I was crazy impressed. It was just a sample one they gave me, a tiny little one. But this stuff's so concentrated that you can actually, like, these little pucks last like the same size as like 3 kind of average size bottles of shampoo, or like, 2 Costco size ones. So the idea is these little pucks for like $10 last you a long time. And because they dry and they're a bar, back to not counting against your liquid allotment in travel. So that's a bonus. You know what I mean? So now toothpaste, mouthwash, and shampoo are no longer something that take up room in your travel bag. They take up room, but they don't count against you. So ladies, you want to bring more makeups and creams and this and that and the others. You can change your, some of your toiletries to a solid form. So, I have got, some shampoo bars. I purchased some, and then they gave me some samples of ones I didn't have. I did the Scenic one the other night. It was fucking awesome. Just rubbing into my hair. My hair just foamed up. It's got seaweed in there, which seaweed, when you get it wet, kind of goes a little jelly, gets this like gel film on top of it, which helps hydrate the hair. So yeah, dry shampoo bar. Oh, sorry. That's shampoo bars. I kept calling it dry shampoo. It's dry in the sense that it's a puck, but I got that. I got a Wasabi Shankui, like gel, not gel, but you know what I mean? Like standard shampoo, wet shampoo bottle. It's green. It's got caffeine, like mint and wasabi in it. It smells really good. I haven't used it yet, but I'm really looking forward to trying that out and seeing how I like that in my hair. But, there's also a thing I learned about called dry shampoo. And dry shampoo is like a powder. And the whole idea is that, like, a lot of people say you're not supposed to wash your hair every day. In fact, it's not really good for it at all. What you can do is dry shampoo it. And it's like starches and scents and things like that you basically put a little bit of this powder in your hand, rub it together in your hands, and then put it in your hair, and it absorbs the grease and things like that, and can give your hair like a cleaner look and refresh it effectively so that you're not constantly washing and killing your hair. I got a bottle, fucking try it out. Let's see how it works. You know what I mean? I'll wait till, I'm not gonna, I don't, you know what? That's when I'd really appreciate you onesies to reach out with contact@onemanpodcast.com. For those of you who know the benefit, like I got friends whose hair looks great, and they don't wash their hair all the time. You know what I mean? My buddy Jeff McKay, interview with Jeff McKay on the One Man Podcast. Jeff doesn't wash his hair every day. His hair looks great. I'd love to know the people who don't wash their hair every day. That's not the same as not showering every day, right? Question mark. It's not that you're not supposed to bathe every day. It's just that you're not supposed to wash your hair every day. So, do you use dry shampoo? Is there anyone out there who has a regime where it's not washing your hair every single day? I would love for someone to send me kind of a breakdown on how exactly that works. I could probably YouTube it, in all fairness, but I would really like to hear from you guys. About, again, guys, what are you using for your shit? Like, what are your health? What's in your cabinet? Like a Capital One ad. I'd love to know what your self-care regime is. But at the same time, I would love to know the people who don't wash their hair every day. What is it? Do you just, keep your head out of the water? Do you use dry shampoo? Do you wet it, but not wash it? You know what I mean? Like, is it just like, I run the water through it, but don't strip the oils with some sort of cleaner or whatever. You know what I mean? But, So yeah, dry shampoo powder to sort of, refresh your hair, make it look a little nicer without the grease. We got the shampoo bars. So again, wash, just like rubbing a bar of soap in your hair, but holy fuck, does it ever feel good. And it really lathers up. Like it gives you that shampoo feel. It just came from a bar instead of from a liquid soap. And then of course I do have a liquid soap, the Wasabi Shenkui. I tried one called Daddy-O, did not like it. Yeah, I really didn't like it because it smelled like lipstick. You know what I mean? It smelled like thick, waxy, cosmetic-y kind of smell. So, yeah, that's it on this shit. I was trying to make it quick, but I guess I had a lot to say about it. I'd love to know your regimes, guys, and what you're using. Also, I would really like to know, here's the thing, not like to know, the store Sage made number one on the last week's episode of the podcast of stores I didn't know that I'd never been, stores I'd never been to in the Radio Center, but now I like. Essential Oil Store. Holy shit. I picked up stuff from there. I like their Peppermint Halo. In fact, that's the one that got me. That's their gateway one. Here's what I'm actually starting to think. I'm a straight male and I'm about, I forgot to turn on my diffuser. And I'm about, you just started right there. I am about essential oils, man. They smell good. Even if it's just something that smells good, it puts me in a good mood. You know what I mean? With these essential oils. But the Peppermint Halo, that's like their signature thing, right? That's how they got me. You know, I walked in the store and I was there to pay for purchases, right? As part of my job as the Radio Center guy. And she's like, hey, did you want to try the Peppermint Halo? Sure. What is it? Yeah, just put a little bit on the back of your neck, rub it in there. And that's how they got me. Right. And now it's like, oh yeah, Peppermint Halo all day, every day. Got my fucking tube here within arm's reach, rubbing on the back of my neck. Oh, smell that peppermint, right? Get the little warm sensation on the back of my neck. It's good. It's good. But here's what I didn't realize. I think that those witches and their witchcraft got me, right? The gypsy juice went in there and their crazy tinctures and their, cauldrons or whatever. I don't know. I have to kill Jenna is what it is. Jenna confirmed. I've been back to the Radio Center. And I'll tell you guys about that in a moment. Back to the Radio Center, and Jenna confirmed she was kind enough. So big thank you to Jenna. She confirmed that she is in fact the store manager, and she had listened to the episode, and she was very, very kind. She was asking me what the soap company was, and I told her, right? If you meet me one-on-one, I'll tell you about these companies that I don't name. But yeah, she was great. The only thing is I have to kill her now because I'm pretty sure she's the head witch. And if I kill her, then I think the spell is broken and I can go back to being a male who doesn't need oils to feel good. And I'm not even talking about CBD. I'm talking about like rose oils and sunshine oils and all these other, I'm kidding, but essential oils. Stop with the fucking text messages, everybody. Jesus. I'm going to have to go ahead and put you back on silent. So yeah, doop. I like the stuff, guys. I like the stuff, but I have to kill the head witch, right? I think that's when she got me, right? When I walked in that first moment, oh, welcome. And then it's like that part in the movie where you're at the end and you're like, how did this all happen? And then you have that little flashback of those couple of drips on the back of your neck that first time. And you're like, that's when it got into me. That's when I bit the apple or whatever, So I've been back again since, thoroughly enjoying their smells. I picked up, I don't know if I picked up anything else that last time. I think I popped in to say hello, but, definitely, love Sage. The staff there is wonderful. They're very sweet. I just have to stay away from there for a while because it is easy to spend lots of money, on what the normal Josh, the average Josh, the toxic Josh would consider, magic beans. You know what I mean? I'm there and I'm just like, I'm like, did I just spend $100 on diffuser oil? Can someone take my wallet? I shouldn't be responsible for my finances. No, it's just, it was just cool. It was cool to be there, to visit. I appreciate them listening to the podcast. Is so incredibly kind. They're so good to me every time I go. So I have nothing but good things to say. Comedically, I'm teasing them because I'm like, it could only be witchcraft that would make me in love with oils. And to somehow not bat an eye at their price tags. But, yeah, thank you. Let's see what else I got here. Brody and I went to the Radio Center. That was why I visited them again. We were there. The young feller was excited about the Lego store and he wanted to get himself some goddamn Lego. I actually, you know what? Let me backtrack here. I'm going to tell you guys very quickly. I got my second vaccine. There's not a whole lot to tell about it. I got it in the middle of the day on Sunday. Brody and I had gone to Rito Center that morning. But I honestly, I got my shot. The one, it was like I looked away because I don't like getting poked with needles. And it was like the woman stabbed me in the arm. It wasn't like a slow injection. It was literally like she held it, you know what I mean? Like around her fist, like the needles pointing out the bottom of her hand. You know what I mean? Like a stabbing motion, like you'd stab a vampire, not like a nice little, okay, I've got my 2 index and middle finger on it. Let's poke it in you. It literally felt like she just fucking, you know what I mean? Like Pulp Fiction right in the fucking bang. It hurt so hard. It hurt so hard. It hurt so bad. But I was like, ow, okay. And I left, I sat, I fucked off. Later in the afternoon, like I had already felt a bit stiff in the neck earlier that day, just in general from how I slept. But, I went home that afternoon. I didn't feel particularly well. I started to feel really sore in the joints, really weak. Just sore muscles, sore joints, sore. My arm was sore. It wasn't like I didn't feel fevered or sick at any point. So it was just like, I just feel shitty. And so I came home that night and that afternoon, I should say, I wasn't even out much longer. And I rolled a little bit of the Sleepwell oil, right? So the peppermint halo, you put it on your temples, you put it on the back of your neck. Oh, you smell sweet peppermint. Everything gets warm and it's supposed to help with headaches and stuff. The Sleepwell, I don't know what the oil is in it, but whatever that mixture is, whatever that gypsy juice is, the coven at Sage Rito had suggested that I roll it on the back of my knees, right? Because it's a pulse point. So on the back of the knees. So for quick absorption at the pulse point, rub it on the back of your knees. And then for slow absorption, you also roll it on the bottom of your feet. So you get a quick acting sort of, fix, if you will, on the back of your knees, pulls it in, puts you nice to sleep. And then the stuff on your feet, because your feet are thicker, slowly absorbs through the feet, to sort of keep it going longer. You know what I mean? Like the oatmeal, if you will, of witchcraft, of tinctures. So that was, that's what I did. And I'll tell you, it worked. It's called Sleepwell. And I did. I was like, I'm going to have a couple hours nap, see if I can feel better. And I fucking woke up at like 11:30 and I'm like, oh, I am still asleep. I'm still very tired. I'm going to go back to sleep. It was interesting. So my arm right now, literally at the site of the injection, it's minutely sore, if anything. And I'm like, literally, like, I don't know if you can hear my rubbing. That's like me trying to find where I was injected. So it barely, just kind of hurts a little bit in the area. I couldn't even pinpoint exactly where. So not that bad. But earlier that day, Brody and I went to the Rito Center. We visited the witches, the Wiccans, the occult shop of Sage. And then we went to the Lego store because the young fella, he is into the Lego. He has got, for his birthday back in June, he received, a Harley Davidson and another motorcycle. Dude is into bikes. He's got his e-bike. He's zipping around the city on his electric bike. Happiest guy. I swear to God, loves it. Loves the freedom. And now, he's done 2 motorcycles and he was like, yeah, I'd love to get my hands on another. He was looking for a Charger, Dodge Charger. And unfortunately they did not have it. So we stood in a long ass fucking line, for the Lego store because I guess a new Star Wars set had come out or whatever that day. We weren't aware, just we happened to be going. But anyways, they didn't have it. So he ended up, picking up something different, which I'll tell you about in a second. We have a bit of a little anticipation, but, we were in the Lego store, we're wandering around looking at all these different things. We had a lot of time in line too. So we're like scrolling through what they have online and looking at all these different sets. And I was like, holy shit, there's like a lot of stuff. And Brody's telling me something about how, like, they said that, like, when it comes to a Lego set, you want to pay about 10 cents a piece. That's usually a fair price or whatever. So, if something's like ridiculously expensive and it doesn't have, that many pieces, then it's usually, not a good price or whatever. Or at least, maybe it's rarer or something. I was like, okay, interesting. I didn't know that about Lego, right? 10 cents a piece, but Lego's all about how many pieces. I noticed that they actually had, like, while we're standing in line, they had like these little, like they had a Seinfeld apartment and the apartment from Friends, which I thought was kind of funny because I'm like, I can see, I guess, maybe young women being into Friends, but I can't see a young woman who's into Friends also being into Lego. It's tough. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm open to it, but I was just like, usually it's kind of like, I would feel like it's like more of a girly girl who would be into that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like I get the Harry Potter thing. Unisex, Harry Potter, right? Young, that kind of it. But I'm like, if you're Lego young, but you're also into Friends. That's interesting. But I was like, there's no fucking way that there's like Lego Seinfeld fans. Do you know what I mean? Unless we're talking adults, and we all know we're talking about adults. There's no 8-year-old who's like, oh my God, I love Seinfeld. You know what I mean? So it's got to be for the adults. But I just thought it was interesting that that's what Lego's doing. It's licensing Seinfeld. It's licensing Friends. Shitloads of Harry Potter, shitloads of Marvel, shitloads of Star Wars, shitloads of other things. It was just like it was a lot to look at, and a lot of shit was expensive. In fact, it's funny. My doctor's office has shitloads of plexiglass display cases of all of the different things he's built. Like in my doctor's office, it's not my doctor. There's a few doctors at this place, but in the office, one of the doctors is all about Lego, and he's got like fucking Harry Potter, not castles, but like scenes. He's got like Slave One and the Death Star and like double decker, but like the office has shit everywhere. Lego sets that this guy's made, but good on him. Rather than just making something and it takes up room in your house, or you break it down and you throw it in a box like a puzzle, the guy's like, I made it, paid for it, and now it's decorative in my office. So I dig that. In fact, I kind of want to take Brody to my doctor's office when things open up and be like, dude, you got to see the sets that my doctor's office has. Pretty cool. But yeah, so, oh fuck, I forgot to talk about the shittiest movie. I got so much to talk about, guys. You'd never think, knowing me, that I would be, bored of talking, but sometimes it does happen. So yeah, I'll get back to that in a second, but, Brody ended up getting a Ford Mustang, like the 1960s Ford Mustang was what he ended up picking up. It was, 1,471 pieces and went for $200. So that logic, of 10 cents a piece, if we move the decimal 2 points, 1 point, we have $147. He paid $200 for it. So not outrageous, but that's maybe that's changed. Hey, maybe the old school way was 10 cents a piece, and now with inflation or COVID, right? Everything's gone up because of COVID. Maybe that's just the way it is. But Brody got a Ford Mustang, and one of the text messages I received this evening, I told you it was pertinent as to what was going on. Brody messaged me and said, the stuff takes way longer than I thought. I just finished the Mustang now. And I should have said, send me a pic, bro. Send me a pic, dude. I want to see it. Want to see it? Bang. All right. Let's see if I can get a picture. If I can get a picture back, guys, I'll throw it up on the One Man Podcast Instagram. So the shittiest movie that I ended up seeing was called Slacks. SLAXX. And Slacks, I was like, it's literally like you just see like the backside of pants, chick with no shirt on. Marketing, right? Make you think nudity, but it's like a naked back and a pair of pants with a hand on the ass cheek. And you're like, and I'm like, I saw that picture alone. I was like, what is it? Haunted pants? Hover over it. And it's like, when a haunted pair of pants. And you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like the B horror movies seem to be never. Oh, good. It's still open in front of me so I can read it to you. When a possessed pair of jeans begins to kill the staff of a trendy clothing store, it's up to Libby, an idealistic young sales clerk, to stop its bloody rampage. It is exactly what it's basically like this, not cult, but it's clearly like one of those corporate environments where they want you to drink the Kool-Aid and, here we have a culture of, teamwork and it's like one of those places where, this new chick starts and they're like, she wants to buy something. And they're like, she's like, I'm a staff member now. So I get a discount. They're like, actually, you don't become a staff member technically until midnight. So you're not going to get your discount on this purchase. There's just honestly a bunch of obnoxious people. In terms of like the filming and everything, the cinematography, the look of it isn't really shitty. It's not half bad. The acting from some is decent, from others it's way over the top. But it's literally like one chick has got the pants on and she's trying to steal a pair of these new pants, and she's got them on and she's sitting on the toilet and it just starts crushing her stomach, and you just see blood coming out of the pants, and then blah, and blood splashes all over the floor, and she severed in half. There's one guy, the zipper comes up and cuts his thumb off, and then the pants jump on his hand and eats his hand. Like it was so dumb. But the idea is that like there's these new pants, and then the place is supposed to be like cruel, GMO free in their pants and sustainable and ethical. And then it just turns out that like the pants are haunted because in the third world countries where they make them, they exploit the laborers or whatever, blah, blah, blah. They never even explained, like, it's not like they were killed. It was just literally they exploit the laborers or whatever. And it's like, and these pants are trying to make things right. It was dumb. And in the end, like, the chick gets knocked over, hits her head. It doesn't even make sense. The chick gets knocked over, hits her on the floor, and bleeds like the fastest pool of blood you've ever seen come out of someone's head. It's like she falls, hits her on the floor, and it's like blood pouring like a bottle smashed. And that was it, just from getting knocked over. But and then you just see like this Indian girl, like, walking down the street, and then she walks onto a thing that has like the name of the clothing company on it. And you're just like, but she was innocent. She was trying to help, and it was stupid. Slacks, the shittiest movie. I will keep looking for shit movies. I'm sorry I didn't want to go into detail, but it was just really dumb. It was literally this. Oh, and the premise was they're unveiling these new pants tomorrow. So the store has gone into lockdown, so no one can come in or out, so that the secret of these new pants isn't revealed, except they unlock the door. Like they find the dead body. Like, oh, we can't come out anyways. We're under lockdown. We can't do anything until the morning anyways. Let's not let it ruin our launch. And then they open the front doors to let some social media person in, some influencer, because she's going to talk about the pants. It's stupid. Whatever. That's why it's the shittiest movie. Slacks, SLAXX. Feel free to have a little gander at the thing if you want to know what I subjected myself to. And with that, we go into the top 5 of this week, guys. Boom, boom, bang, bang. Let's get this over with. It's an hour and a half already. The top 5 Lego sets I'd like to do. So how about that? While I was dicking around in line and there, I saw some things that I thought were actually kind of cool. Now, this is not to say I'm going to go out and buy them, because I couldn't possibly justify some of these price tags. But with every one of these that I mention, please know that I will tell you the amount of pieces and the price tag on these items. So, in number 5, there is a Lego roller coaster. It actually looks kind of cool. I don't know if it works. Nothing on the website said that it works. But it does look like there's a thing that maybe a hand crank or something that pulls the cart up to the top, and then it goes over. So it's a nice looking one. You can see it on the Lego website. The roller coaster is 4,124 pieces and has a grand total of $479.99 for that set. So again, the 10 cents Brody's Law of Lego. I know it's not his, but you know what I mean? So 4,124 pieces, $479. You are paying slightly more, but it's slight, right? 4,000 should be about 400. And it is in fact that, so it's not too off point. Number 4, infinitely cheaper, but speaking of infinitely, it is the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos' glove with the Infinity Stones in it. Much smaller. It's literally just like a stand with the glove and the thing on it. Is 590 pieces, and comes in at $99. So again, $59. Looks like a $59 piece, but it comes in at $100. It seems to be they're usually about $40 or $50 more, but that could just be the inflation of COVID and whatnot. Seems to be pretty reasonable across the board in terms of the cost of these things. And of course, they're paying for licenses from Marvel and stuff like that. You know, those aren't free. The next one. The next one, not the most expensive, but the most pieces I've seen on a set listed on their website. It is the Colosseum. So in Rome, the Colosseum, it's, really doesn't need any explanation. It's a big piece, but it comes in at 9,036 pieces. So should be more than $900, right? At 10 cents a piece, but it actually comes in at $649.99. I would imagine because a lot of those pieces are very similar to build the base. When you see it, it doesn't look super impressive. It's not unimpressive, but just you can see that maybe a lot of those pieces are in the base underneath it to kind of build up its foundation. So the Colosseum is number 3 at 9,036 pieces, $649. Number two, okay? This is one that caught my eye in the store. It is Ecto-1, and I'm going to let that sit for a couple of seconds because some of you don't know what Ecto-1 is. Some of you do. All right. It is let's give it a second here. A little hang time. Fix my ears. Right. For anyone who doesn't know, what is it? This even gives you time to Google it. No, Ecto-1 is the vehicle from Ghostbusters. It's the Ghostbuster Mobile, which is not its name. It's Ecto-1. And Ecto-1 looks really, really nice. It is 2,352 pieces. coming in at $259. So again, very close, 2352, $25.99. You know what I mean? It's pretty close. Also wanted to plug this. The reason Ghostbusters on my mind as well is that Ghostbusters Afterlife is coming out. I saw the newest trailer for that this week as well. And this Ghostbusters won't be like the shitty Ghostbusters, right? The one that was done by Paul Feig, previously mentioned in this episode. Paul Feig isn't touching his stupid, greasy, unfunny fingers on this one. This one is being directed by Jason Reitman, who directed the movie Juno, right? With Elliot Page, at the time Ellen Page, and Michael Cera. Very good movie. He showed his chops as director, but Jason Reitman is the son of acclaimed director and producer Ivan Reitman, who, if I'm not mistaken, wrote and directed the original Ghostbusters movies, as well as he was in the movie, like I gotta pull him up because Ivan Reitman deserves a lot of respect. So what's really cool about this is, Ghostbusters came out the year I was born in 1983. Okay. So it's 40 years old like me. Okay. But Ivan Reitman did a bunch of stuff, and it's really cool to see. So here we go. We've got him. He's known for Ghostbusters, of course. Heavy Metal. Looks like he's a part. Let's get right to his filmography. I'd love to get to the stuff that he directed. So he's 22 movies he's directed. Most recent stuff was Draft Day with what's his face? Kevin Costner. Looks like he did No Strings Attached, which was, I think, Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher. My Super Ex-Girlfriend was a great movie with Uma Thurman and Luke Wilson. It also had Anna Faris. He directed the movie Evolution in 2001 with Sean William Scott, David Duchovny, Orlando Jones, and that chick I don't like, I think it was Julianne Moore. Father's Day with Robin Williams, Billy Crystal. He did Junior. I didn't even know he did Junior, the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger being pregnant. What? He directed Kindergarten Cop and Twins. You know what I mean? You got to give him credit for that. 3 Arnold Schwarzenegger hits. Come on. And I will say this, none of them action movies, guys. Kindergarten Cop was not action, Junior was not action, and Twins was not action. That was literally taking Arnold Schwarzenegger, an action star, and making him a comedy performer, and he did great. Ghostbusters 2, of course, and Ghostbusters. He also, by the way, directed the Ghostbusters music video by Ray Parker Jr. But Stripes, Meatballs, those were comedies prior to Ghostbusters, and of course with Bill Murray. So Ivan Reitman he's known as, he's done his shit, but he's also been a producer of a ton of stuff, including the new Space Jam movie. He was a producer on the new Baywatch. Oh, he was a producer of the Girls Ghostbusters, the Girl Busters. But it looks like, even Countdown to Liquor Day with the Trailer Park Boys, Canadian stuff. But yeah, a lot of the stuff, The Uninvited, I Love You Man, like he's been a producer for a lot of stuff, Disturbia, Eurotrip, Old School. A lot of comedy is usually Ivan Reitman, Road Trip, right? Which are all directed by Todd Phillips. But yeah, so anyways, Ivan Reitman, he's an authority in comedy movies and has been for decades. Jason Reitman is his son, and Jason Reitman has done movies, directed movies, good movies. And so it's really cool that the person responsible for the original Ghostbusters movies, his son, right, that the movie itself is about a new generation of Ghostbusters, and it's nice that a new generation of Ghostbuster director is at the helm of it. So I know I'm in a top 5 list about Lego shit I want to build right now, but I do like sharing that information with you guys. And Ghostbusters Afterlife, directed by Jason Reitman, son of the original director of Ghostbusters. It comes out November 11th, 2021. So still a few months away, but I am super duper excited. This is not a movie where the original cast will pop in as cameos, as cab drivers and spiritual, whatever the fuck Bill Murray is supposed to be. They will reprise their roles as they actually exist. That other one that's like the Ray Stantz, Egon Spengler, Peter Venkman, and Winston Zeddemore didn't even exist. This one they did, and this is a continuation of that the other ones don't even exist. We've wiped the chicks off the face of the earth, not because they're chicks, but because they weren't funny and the movie was fucking stupid. Ecto 1 is what I'd like to build. And finally, I got to say this, just because it was beautiful in the display case. I really liked it. And, a part of me will always like it because it was the original thing. I got to tell you guys, I'll give you a little hint. I don't love anything to do with Star Wars anymore. I'm over Star Wars. The first 3 movies came out and I thought they were the greatest thing. I was like 15 or something. Jesus Christ. I'm going to have IMDb like on rapid fire. You know what I mean? Like it's going to have to be, you know, what do they call that kid? The kids call that shit. I'm going to have it on standby. Jesus. That's not even the kids calling it. It's just literally what I mean. The Phantom Menace. Star Wars Episode 1, 1999, guys. I was 17 years old when that movie came out. So for 17 years, the only thing I knew Star Wars was like, you know, a couple made for TV specials, which I didn't even really see, so that they couldn't sully it. But also like a TV variety show, like, you know, the Muppets, you know, and shit like that. I mean, that wasn't going to ruin it. You know what I mean? I was good. And then the Phantom Menace comes out and I'm like, that was shit. We all thought it was shit. And then the rest of them come out, they were shit. And then they start making other movies and it was shit. And they start doing fucking other stuff and it's shit. And you're like, all right. And then J.J. Abrams puts his hands on it for a second. You're like, oh, there's hope. There's literally a new hope of Star Wars. And then it went right back to shit. Luke Skywalker sucking buffalo dicks on an island in the middle of nowhere because he's a giant pussy now. And just a bunch of garbage. I'm over Star Wars, man. I don't give a fuck about their standalone movies. I don't give a fuck. Like Mandalorian was fun, but I'm so over Star Wars now that I don't give a shit about any of it. I'm just like, whatever. So just because something Star Wars does, there's absolutely no anticipation, no excitement for me. It took, you know, a year after everyone was singing the praises of the Mandalorian is what it took before I even, you know, gave it a watch myself. But having said that, there is still a very cool factor about the Millennium Falcon, Han Solo ship. That was a really cool ship. It was like a signature ship way back in the day. One of a kind, super great ship. It does the Kessel run in 12.2 parsecs, which is a unit of distance, not time. So, I saw this. There's 2 Millennium Falcons they have, but one of them is fucking huge. It doesn't have as many pieces as the Colosseum, but when it's all assembled, it looks bigger. It comes in at 7,541 pieces. So 7,541 pieces and has a price tag of $899. That would be something, you know, I like doing puzzles. That would be something that, would be cool to just, you know, sit and work on with Brody. He's into it. I'm into it to just sit there. Fuck. I would imagine it's like we got that many Lego pieces, just hunting and pecking through them just to be able to find. I bet you a fucking, you know, like a magazine sized instruction manual comes with that of how to put that shit together. I actually should bother Brody about the what do you call it? The Mustang that he built, just to see if I can see what his instruction manual looked like. Anyways, guys, that's my top 5. In number 5, Roller Coaster. Number 4, Infinity Gauntlet. Number 3, the Colosseum. Number 2, Ecto-1. And number 1, the Millennium Falcon. Nostalgically, but not because of any particular love of Star Wars. It was just the biggest motherfucker I saw in the store. And I was like, that would be fun to build. When you see it and you're literally, if you have your hands, you know, not completely extended, but damn near side to side, that's what it would take to hold this fucking thing. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. So that's it, guys. That's the thing. Coming up this week, I got a gig I'm going to be doing Friday night for Fireball Whiskey, reprising with my team, Lamise and Jad. It will be nice to see them again. I got to do my taxes. I found out like last minute I got to do my fucking taxes because they're way behind. I just let it go and never got on top of it. So there'll be a lot of boring shit this week, but I'll try to find a shitty movie. You're always welcome to suggest one to me. Contact at One Man Podcast. I want to know, fellas, what are your self-care, products and routines? Ladies, talk to me about this. Don't wash your hair every day. How does it work? Do I wash, again, I'm supposed to wash my body every day. I would assume. I don't like feeling gross and sweaty and whatever. What shitty movies do you guys suggest? What are your top 5s? Give me a recommendation of a top 5 that you'd love to hear me do, and I'll have it ready for you. Or just send me anything you want. You know the deal. You send it, I read it on the podcast. It gives you a voice. Check out some of the shit that I talked about. If you're traveling, check out some of the stuff from Lush, the dry things. And that's it. All right. Still working on, getting the video version of this podcast done, but, there's no rush. I'm hoping, like, I've literally set myself that, like, by the time we get to episode 250, at that point, it'll be inexcusable if I haven't done it. But, as it stands, we're at episode 221. I have more in the future, and I have shit to do. So, I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you, live your best lives and you're happy and everything's good. Let's get the energy up because this was a very non-toxic mail. I'll send you guys out of here with some fucking upbeat music. But aside from that, I look forward to talking with you again soon.